Hello everyone and welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host Stan Rattan and this is the Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. Almost forgot what I used. Anyway, how do I do that? I taste the wines in front of you, I grade them, tell you how I think about them, analyze them, and then it's up to you. Like I said before, I hope you're getting used to my palate. We're going to go on a little last time Thanksgiving blitz. As I know, tomorrow a lot of you are going to be shopping, you're going to be looking for your wines. I don't want to put out an episode tomorrow night, it will be too late. Although at the store, I have to tell you, Thanksgiving Day is really busy in the wine department because guess what, a lot of us are procrastinators. We wait till the last minute to get shopping for probably one of the more important part of the meal, at least in my opinion. So let's get started right off the bat. Give the glass a little rinse. We're going to start with the Prosecco. Prosecco is a huge play in sparkling wine these days. And this one, I was really interested in. It's called Vandori Prosecco Non-Vintage. And it rolls in at $10, which is an incredible price. And I know a lot of you like to find good values in this holiday. You're having lots of people over. Am I getting that? There it is. See it? Okay. Vandori Prosecco. $10. That's a good price point. If you're looking, like I said, you might have a lot of people over. You want to, you want something that's a little less expensive. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a little apple. Almost interesting, almost like a lees. Probably not done on the lees, I can guarantee you that, but it has that smell. A little bit of pear coming through. Let's see what we get on the palate. A little bit of lemon and apple coming through. Big bubbles. Put it in my mouth and I start to swirl. It explodes in my mouth. Some of you might not like that. Some of you might not even care about the size of the bubbles. It has a nice balance. It's not, there's nothing funky about it. It's got good flavor. Like I said, the only quality about it that might put me off a little bit is the big bubbles. I like wines, my sparkling wines, to have a little finer bubbles on them. I don't like it when it explodes in my mouth with this big thing of foam. It's an extra dry, which means it's a little sweeter than a brut. It's always kind of confusing for a lot of people. Well, it says extra dry. Why isn't it drier than a brut? Well, that's the way they do it. I can't do anything about that. It's just a fact. I'm going to go C+ on that. I think for $10, it's a pretty good Prosecco. It's better than average. Like I said, the only thing that you might not like about it is the bigness of the bubbles. Let's move on to the next one. This is kind of one that I think a lot of you have probably seen around. It's Lucien Albrecht Cremant d'Alsace. So they call their sparkling wine Cremant in the Alsace region of France. This is a brut, so it's going to be a little bit drier. This rolls in at $20, a little bit more money. If you're having a smaller crowd, you might want to go with something a little bit more expensive, or maybe you go with one expensive one and then switch over to the cheaper one. A lot of people like to do that. I've never really thought about it, but that's a plan a lot of people have. Is that your plan? Make a comment. Do you always serve the expensive wine first and then you go to the cheaper ones? Or are you like me, you just kind of go with the flow, whatever you feel like opening, you open? Make a comment. I want to hear what you do during the holidays when you're having people over. So this has kind of a perfumed pear notes on the nose. A little bit of apple. Has a little bit of a tiny bit of bread dough component coming through. A little dusty minerality, which is very interesting. Let's see what we get on the palate. Much drier, lots of lemon, I'm getting that bread dough kind of yeasty thing going on in the palate. Big bubbles, for sure. A little smaller, not quite as foamy as the other one, but you know, I like the other one. I thought the flavors are good. This has a lot of lemon, like lime, citrus notes going on. It lingers on the back end with that little bit of bread dough yeast thing going on. I think those of you who maybe prefer champagne would prefer well, they're entirely different animals, of course, Prosecco and Prosecco, the grape, they call it Prosecco now, but Glera is the name of the grape originally. Now this is a Brut Cremant. I didn't look it up, sorry. Probably part Chardonnay Pinot Noir. I'm sure that's the blend. Maybe it says it on the back. Ooh, that's way too small. That's way too small for me to read right now. Nice, I like it. Nice and dry, crisp, kind of laser sharp on the palate. Good citrus notes, a little bit of apple, pear coming through. The yeast elements are coming through. I'm going to go B on that one. I like that wine a lot. Okay, done with the bubbles. Let's move on to another very popular. Now, in my first Thanksgiving episode, I did a rosé. I did a Alsatian Gewürztraminer. And I can't, did I do a Pinot on that one? I think it was 3 white wines. Can't remember. I'll have to look. Maybe you can look. It was 3 or 4 episodes ago. This is an Oregon Gewürztraminer, because, you know, Alsatian was $18. You know, maybe you don't want to go that high. Excuse me, the bubbles made me burp. All right, this is the Forest 2013 Gewürztraminer, Rogue Valley, Oregon. So in Southern Oregon, it says dry on it. It rolls in at $13. So Forest does a nice job. I have a Pinot Noir down at the store on sale. I really like that Pinot Noir. Let's see what we get on the nose. Immediately get a fig component coming through. My voice is still shot from that Seahawks game on Sunday. Unbelievable. Little pear notes coming through. A little bit of nuttiness, which you would expect from a Gewürztraminer. Ooh, and get interesting like pine needle thing coming through. I like that. Maybe just a slight mandarin orange thing coming on the back end of that. Let's see what we get on the palate. Okay. It is definitely a drier style Gewürztraminer, so if you guys want to do a Gewürz with Thanksgiving, you might like this. If you don't like a sweet wine, this is nice, off-dry, perfect for the savory foods, perfect for that person that doesn't like super sweet wines, like Rieslings or like that Alsatian Gewürztraminer that I had. The pine elements, like almost like pine tree, pine needles, is coming through big time on my palate. There's pears, figs are coming through, but like I said, they're not on the sweet side. They're in that middle range, not super dry, right on the edge of dry. Right on the edge of dry. This sounds like a book. Good title for a book. On the edge of dry. Let's think about that. Get some nuttiness on this, what you expect from a Gewürz. With that little interesting pine thing going on. I'm going to go B plus on that one. I think that's a well-made Gewürztraminer. If you're uncomfortable saying Gewürztraminer, just say Goo. That's kind of the nomenclature of wine people. So the Forest Goo 2013 is drinking well. God, that nuttiness just kind of hangs around there, doesn't it? Wow. It really does. It tastes like you just chewed on a bunch of like cashews and almonds, and it's just that flavor hanging on with a little bit of fig component coming through. Yeah, I'm going to hedge towards B+ on that one. Let's move on to the next one. Got to move right along, guys. I know Alan's probably looking at this video going, are you really going to go through 6 wines in 15 minutes? 15, 20 minutes? We'll see if I can make it. This is an interesting one that maybe you don't think about when you're doing turkey. This is a Bordeaux, white Bordeaux, Chateau Argandins, 2012, Bordeaux, a blend of Semillon and Sauv Blanc. It's interesting to me how many people, this rolls in at $15. This rolls in at $15. And it's interesting how many people at my store today and how much Sauvignon Blanc I'm selling. It kind of confuses me because Sauvignon Blanc is not necessarily the best wine for Turkey Day. It's a little bit on the dry side, and you know, turkey is dry. Sometimes that can conflict with the meal. I mean, you can drink whatever you want. I am not going to fight you on that. But just straight up Sauvignon Blanc might be a little tough. Put a little Semillon with it, like white Bordeaux. You end up getting a little more mellow white that would be definitely better with the turkey. Very interesting nose on this one. I get a little bit of grapefruit pith coming through. Almost that cat pea sort of thing that a lot of people don't like, I guess. Definitely a little grapefruit pith. They call it black currant bud. I just think it's like a combination of grapefruit pith, gooseberry sort of thing that creates that sort of smell. A lot of cut grass on this one. I'm getting a little lemon oil underneath. I like the nose on this. I know some people don't like that. They call it cat piss, but you know, I don't know. I kind of debate whether that's what you get or it's a combination of a couple of different fruits, a grapefruit, gooseberry. Let's see what we get on the palate. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's not nearly as dry as a Sauvignon Blanc. It has a little bit of dryness there. It has that grass notes. Very interesting grapefruit pith, sort of lemon pith thing going on. And the interesting thing about this wine that I really like is there's a hint of or a sense of spiciness on the palate, which is really cool. And you think about all the different elements of Thanksgiving meal. Spice is a good thing. And the finish is lingering on this. I get a little grass blade sort of thing going on with a little lemon and grapefruit pith. That's a really good wine. I like that a lot. That spicy kind of sense of spiciness, I guess, because it doesn't, you don't feel the, I don't know how to describe it to you. A little bit of Asian pear coming through right at the back side of this. You know, it's mellow enough and round enough to go with the meal. And at the same time, it has some, you know, that nice citrusy sort of sense on it. Very refreshing. A nice bottle of wine. I'm going to go B+ on that one for sure. Strong B+, hedging towards A-. Now, let's go to the 2 reds that I have. I did my last episode. By the way, this is episode 140, which is incredible. I started doing my first videos last year in December, and now I'm on episode 140. I actually thought I might get further than that, but you know, things happen. You know, I'm not going to be religious about making sure I do one every day. So I did an episode on Piont Noirs, found some great Pinots. They were all in the upper end. I think the cheapest one was 20 bucks. So I thought I'd throw in one that I always kind of recommend to those people who like a little more fruit on their Piont Noir. Dare I say, Syrah. McManus Family Vineyards Pinot Noir, California, vintage 2013. This rolls in at $12. McManus, I think, is just an incredibly good value wine in a lot of different varietals. And I'm getting crowded over here. Let's move some things over. I have to aim the camera a little closer to the center, I guess. Let's see what we get on the nose. So $12, that's, you know, if you wanted to, if you have a bunch of people, let's say if you're in 10 people over, you want a Pinot that's going to be good and yet doesn't bust the budget. You know, that $12 isn't bad. A lot of ripe cherries immediately on the nose. Just an undertow of strawberries. Just a skosh of red flowers. A little bit of mocha and vanilla coming through on this one. Let's see what we get on the palate. You know, I always recommend McManus. I haven't tasted it in a while, so I'm glad I've been able to taste it. Always recommend McManus to people who aren't sure about Pinot Noir, who say they don't like it, but they're really still looking for a Pinot. Because one of the reasons people don't like Pinot Noir is because it tends to be acidic, a little on the earthy side. They don't maybe like the black tea, tobacco, earth, dirt part of Pinot Noir, especially from Burgundy. So I lead them to McManus because it's a reasonably priced Pinot with a nice roundness. There's a lot of ripe cherries on this one. Like I said, a little ripe strawberries underneath. Get a little kind of a coffee bean mocha thing on the backside. You know, this is just a really delicious Pinot. It may not be what a Pinot Noir snob might like. I mean, they might say, well, this is not good Pinot. Well, okay. We know how subjective wine is. I think that people are looking for a good value who want to please a lot of people. You have people over at your house that might not even drink wine on a regular basis. Do you want to serve them a really acidic, dirty Pinot Noir? I don't think so. So here you got one that's right in that range where a lot of people are going to like it. And if you have a snob in the group, put one under the table, plunk it up there for him or her, whoever it is, make them happy. But for 12 bucks, I think you can get this for a little less than that in some stores. You know, it's a good value, and it's delicious, and it has enough fruit to go with the Thanksgiving meal. I'm going to go B- on that one. I think it's C+, B-. It's, you know, no, I'm going to go B-. I'm going to be generous. I'm feeling generous today. I think it's nothing funky about it. There's nothing fakey about it. It's just what it is. It is a nice, round Pinot Noir. Let's move on to the next one. Now here's one where you may not think about doing on Thanksgiving, but I think it has a lot of elements to it that lend well to the food, and that's Syrah. Of course, you have to be careful with Syrah because you can get one that's too large. You don't want a super large one. I have no idea if this one's going to work. I just picked it out. Fess Parker 2012 Syrah, Santa Barbara County, and this rolls in at $22. So for you that open the nice one first, this might be the first one you open. But you know, the smokiness, the bacon fat, all that comes in with the Syrah, you know, I think that works with a lot of the elements of the Thanksgiving meal. As long as it doesn't have too many tannins on it. So right off the bat on the nose, I get that kind of bacon fat, boysenberry, little mocha. I'm getting some interesting like rose petal elements. Little vanilla coming through. kind of a plum, like a black plum element coming through also. Let's see what we get on the palate. See, I like that one. There are some tannins on the backside, but they're not overpowering. This is a nice, smooth, delicious Syrah. Bacon fat elements come through. Plum, currants, cherries, they're all there. There's a smokiness on the backside. I can just really picture this with turkey. We've heard of smoked turkey. I hope you've had a smoked turkey before. Stuffing, green bean casserole, you know, just all those good things that come. Ham, if you're having ham with your, we always do a ham on Thanksgiving because my stepdaughter doesn't like turkey. She likes ham. Perfect with ham. Yeah, nice balance. And then there's this nice, like white pepper, black pepper spiciness on the backside, which is really interesting. A little bit of worn leather, like, you know, like really, really old leather coming through. I like that. I think that's going to work nicely with the turkey meal. I really do. And if you're having ham, work good too. There you go, 6 wines. Possibility for Thanksgiving. I hope I've helped you a little bit in the last 3 or 4 episodes. Sorry I couldn't remember the third one I tasted. I should have looked. I didn't. It just kind of came out. I can't remember what it was that I tasted on that. That's why I need an assistant back there to help me remember those things. But there you go, 6 wines. 22 bucks is the highest. They all go down from there. Even found a good Pinot for $11. I'm going to go Fess Parker. I'm going to go A on that one. I think that's a very well-built Syrah. I'm very impressed with that Syrah. I like it for a lot of good reasons. You know, when I give wine an A, that has to fall into a lot of different categories. Smooth, shows all the varietal characteristics of a Syrah. It's just really good. So I'm going to go A, maybe a little towards A- on that one. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. If I do an episode tomorrow, it's going to be on some possible dessert wines to enjoy after Thanksgiving. But I may not do it. I haven't decided yet. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. My subscribers are going up. I'd like to see it go up even more. If you're enjoying these videos, you want to know when they're coming out, subscribe. And then comment. What did I ask at the start? Do you always bust out the good wine first and the cheap wine next? Let me know. Cheers. And here's to keeping the snob out of wine.